Thanks for clicking on State of the City. My name's Todd Prafke. I'm the City Administrator here in St. Peter, and I really appreciate you taking the time and energy to click on this, whether you're getting it on Facebook or on our website or maybe on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate you taking the time. My goal here on February 3rd is to talk about the workshop from February 2nd and then give you a few tidbits of information here and there about some of the things that are going on in town or that I think you should be aware of. So let me get to that first mission first. And today it is a review of the workshop from February 2nd. You can see the agenda here. Let me get it a little bit closer to the camera. You can see what's on there. By the way, you can see this on our website if you want to watch it on our or view it, the entire document on our website. Those are the agenda items, and I'm going to talk about this first one, which is Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, or what we commonly refer to as the SWIP. Now, this has been an area of additional regulation and mandates from the state of Minnesota, and we've been passing it down to builders and contractors and folks that dig holes and all kinds of different people. And so we are up for a new renewed permit to be able to discharge stormwater into the Minnesota River, and along with that, increased rules and mandates come from the state of Minnesota. This is an ongoing progression, and so what we did on Monday night was introduce the council to some of the activity that's going to have to take place. Now, how the rubber meets the road in this is not so much additional regulation of our contractors or folks that dig in the right-of-way. It's more us solidifying our position as having to regulate them, otherwise the city gets fined, and providing additional information as to if we have people that violate that, so allow lots of dirt or silt to run into the river, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to fine them? How are we going to fine them? How are we going to determine that? It's a lot of that kind of stuff, and it's very important stuff, but very detailed, and frankly too much for me to get into on our video blog. But please know that we are on top of this and we continue to move forward, and that it's very important for us to do this in the right way, not only for financial reasons, but frankly because we're doing what we probably need to do and should have been doing 50 years ago relative to the Minnesota River. And so with those two thoughts, please keep this in the back of your mind as we move forward, and you'll see some additional work on the part of the City Council. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership grant application. This relates to Maplewood Apartments. You may recall a while back, well, in midsummer of last year, the council approved and provided support to Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership in seeking funds to purchase and rehabilitate Maplewood Apartments. The goal there was to keep those apartments really kind of in their current use as a moderate income apartment complex. And so Southwest is going through the process on that, and there's some funds that are available that now the city has to participate in receiving from the state of Minnesota and then provide them to Southwest Minnesota Housing Partnership. A couple of things related to that. It's over $1 million of work that's going to occur, and that ultimately those dollars will flow back to the city, not to the state, but back to the city for use on additional housing projects and other things. And so that's a good thing overall. Keeps our housing stock steady here within the community, but also will provide us other opportunities. Granted, it's 30 years out, which is a long time, but boy, 30 years can pass in a long time, and we'll have housing needs at that point as well. So the next item is a currency exchange business hearing. This is something that the city's never really been involved in, and so we've had our first licensing application for currency exchange. This actually occurs through the state of Minnesota. It isn't something that we regulate locally, but we are required under the state statute and rules to provide opportunity for a hearing on this. And so this is, frankly, a currency exchange. It's how you might change rubles into dollars, or dollars into rubles, or pesos into dollars, or dollars into pesos. And so one of the businesses downtown, the La Mexicana General Store, is going to get into the currency exchange business, and so there's a hearing process as a part of that. So just to keep you up to date. Also want to mention the Transit Study Group membership. We have talked for a long time about DOT doing a study about cooperation and potential consolidation within transit, us, LeSueur, Vine, and some other folks. Now the Department of Transportation has said they're ready to go. That study's underway, and so it's us being ready and appointing a council member and having some staff people participate in the steering of that study and how it fits together. Our overall goal here is to try and figure out ways to improve efficiency and improve service all at the same time. And so we have a number of issues that swirl around this related to volunteer drivers and transit, and who can go outside of town and who can't, and can we drive this person to the doctor if the doctor's in Mankato, but how about if the doctor is at St. Francis, and all those kind of things are things that we've got to really work on and figure out. And we love our transit system, and I know so many people use it within St. Peter, so it's not getting rid of it by any stretch. Those are the things that are really good and really important to what we do, but there's a lot of things kind of on the edges of the issue that we've got to work on and figure out, and hopefully find some efficient ways to continue to provide those services as well as potentially new services. And then last but not least, the council set a goal session date. As you know, we have goal sessions really kind of quarterly, so we're going to have one on March 30th. That's the 5th Monday of March. The council generally meets from 3 o'clock until, well, whenever it gets done. Sometimes that's as late as 11 o'clock at night. And sometimes they drill really deeply into issues, and sometimes they're talking at 50,000 feet. So it's a really important meeting for them, and I think, frankly, from a council perspective, many of them have indicated it's one of their favorite meetings of the cycles. Now, to a few tidbits. I want to mention that if you haven't seen the WCCO stuff from last week talking about Winterfest in St. Peter, you can check it out on WCCO's website. Cool for them to come down. How great. Thanks to them, and thanks for all the people locally who participated, and they did some great segments on some of our local businesses, which is always very neat. We put some of them on our website, well, actually on our Facebook site, but if you want to see them all, go to WCCO. It's really kind of cool stuff. We also want to mention snow removal. It's snowing as I'm doing this right now on Tuesday, and so we'll have some snow removal, but I gotta mention garbage cans and snow removal. Right and wrong, where the placement of those. Notice the correct way is those Kirby's are up on the boulevard, not in the street. In the street is the wrong way, and it helps with snow removal and lots of other things. So please be aware of that. I also want to mention that the end of year for the hospital has come at their fiscal year's calendar year, and we are going to lose money again for the 14 year. But I got to tell you, have faith that the last 6 months of 14 were looking fantastic, and the trend line was great, and are working with OFC and St. Peter Clinic and others. And so we're very confident that 2015 is going to look like a great year. And even though this picture looks very spring or summery, and I know it's winter, we do want to mention that they have exceptional care close to home at River's Edge. They do great stuff there, and it's so great to have those services within our community. Kind of last but not least, absentee ballots. There is a school board referendum election on March 10th, and absentee ballots for that will become available on February 6th. February 6th at Nicollet County at the auditor's office, auditor treasurer's office. They're the folks who run the absentee balloting, and that starts February 6th. Under the rules in Minnesota, you don't have to have one of the 5 excuses anymore as to why you can't be at the polls. You just have to say you can't be there, and they'll give you an absentee ballot, and you can vote absentee. So take advantage of that opportunity if you want to chime in, if you want to vote on this very important issue within our community. Getting to the end, here's our great graphics. Email me there's our website. We would love it if you like us on Facebook or give me a call. We're happy to come and visit. And really happy that you took time to click on this State of the City for February 2nd. Thanks again, and I hope you have a great rest of the week.